Guitar Sessions. This is Rod. Today we are looking at Jimi Hendrix and Hey Joe. Billy Roberts, I think, was the one that originally recorded it. I'm not even sure who originally. The song may be 100 years old for all I know. But anyway, we know it because of Jimi Hendrix. Lots of history to this song. So with that said, let's get started. Starts off with a intro. Now this intro is in a couple different things. Okay, so now the intro is in an E minor pentatonic stuff. So I'm going to slide my second finger. 5, 3, and then open minor pentatonic. Use those full voice chords. Now the other thing we need to know about Jimi Hendrix is his playing should not be analyzed like it were classical music. You want to get his sound and some of his stuff, but he doesn't play it ever himself the same exact way. All right? So some of this is like I could go. All those work. All those variations work. But anyway, so just slide up, back down with that open E. Open. Then he goes 4 to 5. That little riff. Kind of Mr. Soul, Neil Young kind of vibe. Final riff in this. This is Jimi Hendrix, Curtis Mayfield inspiration. That was lots of Hendrix, and that's why Hendrix rules. The Curtis Mayfield, all the chordal stuff that he did, he was vibing off of Curtis Mayfield and his piano tuning stuff. Later lesson. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so that's your intro. Okay, the next part is the chord progression. So what I would say is with the chord progression, you learn every fingering that you can conceivably play with it, because Hendrix is all over the place with that stuff, and he's fluid with it. He doesn't do anything the same way twice, but the most obvious thing we could do, I'm going to show you a couple of these versions that I can think of, is your open chords. C, G, D, A, E. Okay? C, G, D, really good. Like the only song I know that has all of the cage fingerings all in the main progression. So that little thing, that is like this, an octave lower. Or you could do the Whole Lot of Love fill. Alright, so now C, G, D, A, E. And that little, you throw that in there. That or the whole lot of love. All right, next thing we could talk about is like the bar chords. Obvious, the next obvious thing would be C, G, D, A, E. Bar chords. So if we wanted to break the chords up with bar chords or open chords, we could do that too. So that is 2 measures of E stuff. And he does ornamentation, different kinds of ornamentation every time, every 2 measures. It's never, he varies it up like a jazz musician. So, all right, broken chord strumming, getting into the rhythm of it. He does some of this. Layer 3. Let's interject some cage fingerings in there, cage inversion voicings. Okay, so that's a caged little riff. Now that's a G fingering. That's your A fingering, the G fingering. Little, that's Hendrix. That little thing. Now if I do the G fingering, I can do this little sliding. He sometimes will put like bassline ideas in his guitar part. So this is like a canvas that you can practice your cage fingerings, your comping. Comping is short for accompanying, your different rhythm guitar things, different ornamentation, different voicings. C, the G, I could do the cage fingerings, I could do all kinds of things. He also would probably throw in some octave. So that's all rhythm guitar stuff, and then that's a lifetime of stuff. You can continue with that and go off on that. Now, most obvious things we can do when we're soloing over top of it, we're going to talk about a couple obvious or not so obvious stuff. First thing everyone learns is that minor pentatonic scale as being the scale that you can play over top of all that, and that's fine. That works, and it actually sounds like the song. Okay, sometimes when we go too far outside, it can be jazzy, but it doesn't sound, it sounds hokey. So it can be really cool, music theory kind of thing, but sound horrible. So we don't want to do that. So anyway, so minor pentatonic this way. So something like That's kind of mixolydian there. That's another thing we could do. So minor pentatonic, okay. So what is mixolydian? Mixolydian is it's a major third in there and a flat seven. So it would be like this. Something that takes us a little bit away from that same tonality, but to get out of just playing the same licks we always do, is this. Thinking in terms of horizontally speaking. Horizontally speaking, the minor pentatonic on the high E string. It's that. Play around with that all you want. Make it a game. Make it fun. B string. Finally, B string with your E string. B string drone or E string drone. So it'd be like something like this. Another thing that we can do that nobody does really is switch the tonality from minor pentatonic to major pentatonic. It works. Okay, so one more thing that we got to talk about before we end this lesson is the line, the bassline riff. All right, so it's going to be an exercise in chromatic movement. And I'll play it a couple more times so you can get a fix on it. Those are half steps. Then I go to this note, half steps. Then I go to this note, half steps. Then I go to this note. Anyway, that is Hey Joe 2005, what am I saying? 2025 version of it. I may come back a year later from now and think, hey, I had it all wrong. You can do this, this, and this. But anyway, that's where we're at today. See you next time. Hi, this is Rod from Boomer Guitar Sessions. I personally wanted to thank you for being part of our community. If you like what we're doing here and you want to see more of it, please hit the like, subscribe, and share. And this helps me spread my musical messages to all over the world. Thank you. I appreciate you. And always remember, you can do